Good morning. How are we?
Yes.
Very good.
Very, very good. And no doubt it's getting busier and busier for you. Manchester City, are they pushing for a signing?
Yeah, they are. And this would be a record fee for a defender if it comes off. Josko Gvardiol, very talented Croatian centre-back, played a big part in his country getting to the latter stages of the World Cup in Qatar. He has a £100 million release clause in his contract. That doesn't kick in until the summer of 2024. City are trying to get the deal done early. I think it's still going to cost them £85 million, but we know that they have that money to spend. They were willing to spend up to £90 million on Declan Rice. They've already signed one Croatian city this summer in the form of Mateo Kovacic. I think there's every chance that he's joined by his fellow countrymen.
Okay. Liverpool have been pretty busy. Could they be adding more to their ranks?
Yeah, they have. Jurgen Klopp made it pretty clear at the end of last season that there would be a big summer ahead, particularly in that midfield area. Of course, they completed the signing of Dominik Szoboszlai over the weekend. Another RB Leipzig player. Their players are being picked up this summer. Roméo Lavia is a name very much in the frame for Anfield. I know there's some interest from Chelsea as well, where their recruitment guru, Joe Shields, played a big part in him going from Manchester City to Southampton. He's keen to get a deal done, taking Lavia to Stamford Bridge. But at this stage, looks like Liverpool are the front runners. Won't be cheap, though. Southampton looking for a fee of as much as £50 million for Lavia, who I think will go on to become a real top-quality Premier League midfielder, so certainly one to keep an eye on.
They're going to be very midfield-heavy, the way things are going with Liverpool, aren't they?
Yeah, but I think Dean will agree that was a real area of concern for them last season when, of course, they missed out on a place in the top four. They have moved on a few players from midfield as well. Oxlade-Chamberlain has been released. James Milner has gone to Brighton. Naby Keita given a free transfer as well. Obviously, Alexis McAllister is already through the entrance door, but I think the plan was always to add at least two more midfielders. They've got Szoboszlai, who's more of an attacking midfielder, more of a number 10, really. Lavia would be that defensive shield that Jurgen Klopp is looking for.
Yeah, they got the midfield three that they have had in the past cover the full width of the pitch. So they've got to have legs, because that allowed Salah and Mane to walk back at times. So the three athletes they had in there were unselfish players. So bringing Thiago into the mix was a bit dangerous, because he's more of a footballer, he's not going to cover the ground. So I think it was vital, Alex, that he got some legs in there.
Yeah, Lavia would definitely bring that. I mean, obviously it was a difficult season for Southampton, relegated with a whimper really into the Championship, but he was one of their standout performers. I've spoken to a couple of Southampton players about how he's regarded in the dressing room, and they tell me that he's a good lad and he's going to be a top player as well. And actually, he showed leadership qualities in what was a very young Southampton side. So I can see the attraction from a Liverpool perspective, and he's certainly got the legs, as you say, Dean, to get up and down the pitch.
Manor Solomon made quite the impact off the bench for Fulham last season in a few games, and I know his contract's run out with his club at Shakhtar Donetsk. Could we be seeing him back in London?
Yeah, looks like it. Agreement in principle between him and Spurs. There's plans for a medical this week. But it's hard not to feel sorry for Shakhtar in this situation. I think they are going to be speaking to FIFA and trying to get some compensation, because, as you say, his contract has come to an end. But of course, because of the war in Ukraine, there was a regulation that was brought in by FIFA that effectively allowed non-Ukrainian players to almost walk away from their contracts, and therefore he went out on loan to Fulham. As you say, he was still officially a Shakhtar player. His contract now has officially come to an end. Shakhtar's argument is that under normal circumstances, they would have sold him a year ago for, 30-40 million pounds, and now a prize asset is walking out the door for nothing. So it'll be interesting to see how FIFA react to that. From a Tottenham perspective, I think this is a really shrewd signing, a player who proved himself, as you say, in the Premier League. I think a player who will fit into the way that Ange Postecoglou wants to play, and it just gives them that little bit of extra squad depth as well.
Yeah. And talking departures, I'm expecting more at Chelsea, are we?
Yeah, we are. There's been more departures than incomings at this moment in time. The rumours are that they're going to step up their interest this week in Moises Caicedo. At the moment, talks between Chelsea and Brighton certainly aren't at an advanced stage, so they're going to have to get near Brighton's big money valuation for that one really to get off the ground. Christian Pulisic is a player who's sought after in Italy with AC Milan and in France with Lyon as well, and I think he's another player that Chelsea are willing to cash in on. I think it's going to be really interesting once we get to the end of the window to tot up the number of transactions that Chelsea have done this window, both in terms of outgoings and incomings, because they're really trying to clear the deadwood from Mauricio Pochettino to enable him to rebuild his squad. But I think it's going to have to be a summer of patience as well for Chelsea fans, because the main priority at the moment still is to trim that wage bill. They've got the Lukaku situation. They've been in advanced talks with Inter Milan for him. They're reluctant to let him go out on loan without any form of obligation to buy. For his part, Lukaku's turned down a big money move to Saudi Arabia, so that's a bit of a conundrum for Chelsea. Aubameyang is still a Chelsea player, and there is interest as well in Conor Gallagher, although at the moment that doesn't really seem to be moving because they've let a lot of midfielders go, Chelsea, so I think more players are going to have to come in before he be sold.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.